It's that time for the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video, the Tuesday evening edition. Hope you've had a good Tuesday. The weather has been, well, not great once again today. We've had a scattering of showers, especially during the second half of the afternoon and into early this evening as well. Now, at the Youngstown Warren Airport since midnight, we've picked up 0.17. Some places have had quite a bit more than this, but at the airport, 0.17. That brings our monthly total up to a kind of an ominous number here, 6.66 inches, a whopping 4.34 inches above the average through the first 18 days of June. We only had a trace at the airport yesterday, but look at some of these totals dating back to the middle of last week. And again, you know, like I've said many times in this video, the airport is not necessarily representative of every spot across the area. Some places have had quite a bit more rain than the airport. But at the airport, where the official records are kept, 6.66 through today's date, taking us up to 6th place now on the list of wettest Junes. We will have no problem climbing to number 4. That's a mortal lock at this point, that this will end up at least as the 4th wettest June on record. The top 3, there's a big gap between number 3 and number 4. You know, I can't rule out that we're going to get up there. And this 1986 10.66, that is the record for the wettest any month on record here. So you know, we might challenge not only the June record, but the all-time record for any month before June is through. Over the last 72 hours, average accumulation, when you look at most of our TV viewing area, about 1.5 inches. Now that's just an average. Some places have gotten less than that, some places quite a bit more. I decided to highlight some of the places, of course, that have gotten quite a bit more than that average. 2, 3, even 3.5, 4 inches or so. Not uncommon over the last 72 hours, really, since the rain started to become more problematic again during the second half of the weekend. All right, I talked about this on social media and on 21 News at 6 earlier on. The fact that it's wet this month, wet this year, you know, what else is new? It's getting wetter across our region. Average precipitation amounts have increased since 1960, when it was about 37, up to about 41. So our average annual precipitation has gone up by 4 inches over the last almost 60 years. That may not seem like a big number, 4 inches over 60 years, but that's actually a pretty significant number. And you know, I drew this red line, kind of the average line, fairly straight, but you know, to be more precise on this, the biggest change in our averages have occurred since the year 2000. The average ticked up during the 60s, 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, but it's really been since the turn of the century that average has really climbed by a fair amount. Incidentally, 30-year averages are calculated every 10 years for the official averages. Now, what I did on this graphic is looked through some data and calculated truly the last 30 years, so from 1989 or 1988, I should say, through 2018, not counting this year. But at the beginning of each decade, that's when the official averages are calculated. So we'll be getting new averages coming up next year in 2020. Right now, our averages, temperature-wise, precipitation-wise, are all based on 1981 to 2010. Well, next year, those averages will switch from 1991 to 2020. You know, that's something that happens every decade, and we'll get, no doubt, our averages will climb in terms of temperatures, in terms of precipitation, and in terms of average annual snowfall, because we're getting more snow lately, and so those averages will change. All right, this evening, as of 7:10, a couple of showers around, nuisance showers, no big deal. This is nothing all that impactful. This is not going to cause any flooding issues. These showers will fade away as we head through the evening. Severe thunderstorm watch out towards the nation's capital and Philadelphia area as well. More heavy storms with flash flooding concerns down into parts of Virginia and the Carolinas this evening. All right, tomorrow, you know, today wasn't bad for some places, and like I told you yesterday, the farther north you live or work, the drier you were today. And tomorrow is going to be even better, I think. In fact, I think we'll see some sunshine tomorrow, especially north of 224. I can't rule out a passing afternoon shower tomorrow afternoon, especially down towards Route 30 and south. It's going to be pretty sparse, though. I think most of us will be dry on Wednesday. Actually, not a bad day considering how lousy it's been over the last couple of days. All right, but things are going to change by late tomorrow night and heading into Thursday. This is the day 2 flash flood risk. And just like with the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlooks, this covers an 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. time frame. So this is 8 a.m. tomorrow through 8 a.m. Thursday. And so while tomorrow is not bad, the flash flooding risk will increase before 8 a.m. on Thursday. So it's going to start raining in most spots late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. And so that's why we are in this kind of medium risk already on the day 2 outlook. And then the day 3 outlook, of course, Thursday into Thursday night. This is the day we're most concerned about a resurgence of flash flooding problems. We're in the medium risk that day as well. The atmosphere is going to be very juicy, and a pretty potent little system is going to come across. The showers and thunderstorms could occur at any time on Thursday. The best chance for downpours might be in the afternoon, but I wouldn't split hairs on that too much just yet. Just plan on a pretty soggy, unsettled day, and any of these showers and potential thunderstorms could really wring out quite a bit of moisture, because from the ground up several thousand feet, we're going to have a waterlogged atmosphere on Thursday. But then, just like last Friday, remember how beautiful last Friday was? We've got a repeat of that coming up this Friday with low dew points, plenty of sunshine, and a nice little breeze as well. So a rare gem coming our way on Friday. All right, as far as the rainfall goes, tomorrow night into Thursday, and I'll give my usual spiel here, and that this is just a handful of models. There's more model information to look at than this, but for simplicity's sake, we plot up these models. There's some of the major computer models, and in this kind of a convective pattern, your mileage can really vary on rainfall totals, but in a general sense, what we can expect Wednesday night and heading into Thursday and early Thursday night, probably an average of about an inch worth of rain. But could some places get 1.5 inches or 2? Absolutely. Could some places get closer to 0.5 inch if you miss out on a lot of downpours? Yeah, that's possible too. So, I think as an average for our entire region, about 1 inch, but not going to be surprised if some places come in quite a bit higher than that. All right, when is this pattern going to change? I want to dive a little bit into the longer range here tonight. This is a look at the weather flow as we go through the longer range. This is from the weekend, or late in the weekend into early next week. What we have going on is a lack of any sort of big ridge parked over our part of the country that would deflect a lot of moisture away and really warm us up. It's a pretty fast, almost zonal flow like this, allowing a lot of little ripples to come across in the flow and lead to shower and thunderstorm chances. That's what our forecast is for the weekend and into Monday. Chance of shower and thunderstorms here and there, but probably not any sort of washouts in there. But with this kind of fast, almost zonal flow, that's the kind of forecast you're going to get. But there's pretty decent model agreement that this pattern is going to change. Watch what happens as we go through the end of June and into early July. A ridge starts popping here on the models across the eastern 2/3 of the country. That's this guy right here. That's a big ridge of high pressure. Assuming this is the correct idea, that means most of the stormy weather would be bottled up out west, and we would be benefited, I should say, by this ridge deflecting a lot of the deep moisture away from our region. Now, could there be the occasional shower and thunderstorm? Of course, but it would be a fundamental change in the pattern. You'll see that on the precipitation anomalies advertised here on the long-range European modeling, which is updated twice a week. We got an update last night. We'll get one Thursday night. The greens, the above-average precipitation, eventually start fading away here as we go towards the end of June and beginning of July, and even some browns showing up. We might get into a pattern for a while in which precipitation is a little below average. Wouldn't that be something? That would be a welcome sight. So I do think things are going to change. Changes are coming. This is the European model, but it's in fairly good agreement with the American climate forecast system model. Notice the greens become more muted over time. I think we're going to start getting into a better pattern, maybe not a bone dry pattern. It's hard to be bone dry in the middle of summer. Summer is one of the wetter times of the year around here, of course, typically. We all think of summer and think of sunshine and humidity and pool weather and things like that, but actually July is on average our wettest month of the year. So of course we're not going to have a bone dry July or August. That would be ridiculous, but I do think that at the end of June and early July we're going to get into not only a warmer pattern, but a drier pattern as well. Let's hope that's right. I really think it is right. I don't see anything to go against that idea at this point. All right, that's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here on Wednesday evening. Have yourself a great Tuesday night.